Bonjour Anin, the Indigan Filmwork channel, min der wewedak a Masinagan, a Masinagan Kage Gabao. Hello and welcome to the Filmwork channel, and today I want to talk about a really amazing book. Well, it's a little bit bold always to claim this is a book that changed my life, because it isn't. It didn't change my life, but what I want to say is miigwech for supporting me, offering me support in a time where I was pretty much doubting my values, and I still do. That's not something that was an all heal, but it is a wonderful little writing. It is. I am talking about the 7 generations and the 7 grandfather teachings by James Fukalich, Kage Gabao. Please excuse me if I'm getting the pronunciation all wrong, and I wholeheartedly want to invite you to correct me if I'm being wrong. I'm still learning, and it's really difficult to learn this language, because it is an altogether different concept of language, which doesn't make it easy to learn for someone with an European background. Fact is, I want to, and I tried to talk Ojibwe in order to honor you and offer you my respect and my humility, because I really want to communicate with you and want to learn from you, because this is what the book is all about. This is the sort of a summary of several intellectual or spiritual strands coming together with and put together by the awesome James Fukalich. Go to his channel, go to Instagram and Facebook, and give him a subscription. This is a really great guy who taught me personally a lot about Anishinaabe culture, and it's really valuable. So what is this book about? And I want to quote the book itself. Chapter 1, 7 Generations. According to Iroquois tradition, the peacemaker, Deganawida, told the Iroquois people, in every deliberation, in every decision, think 7 generations into the future. This is the concept of 7 generations, the belief that an individual's choices have the potential to impact their descendants for generations, and likewise that an individual is affected by choices made by their ancestors. The concept of 7 generations shows up internationally in indigenous territories across North America, for example, the Lakota warrior and holy man Black Elk, who also spoke of 7 generations. The first time I heard the concept, I thought, this is profound. It is also confounding. And do you know the sensation if you get a book and you just have to put it down to think about a simple single word or phrase, and this is profound and confounding, and you are thinking about the meaning of these words. Actually, this is, I think, I can gather as much, what makes it so difficult to learn the Ojibwe language for someone with a European background, because we have lost this. The colonial mindset took this from us. And it's not the colonizers, we are the colonizers. And we need to come humbly and throw everything overboard. We thought we had learned. And this is something, well, the book in itself is structured around the 7 grandfather teachings. And I want to just want to quote one aspect of the 7 grandfather teachings, as according to Kage Gabao. And this is Dabazen Dizowin. Again, if I pronounce it something wrong, please correct me. I'm just trying and I'm just reading it, and I'm coming from an altogether different background, and I really want to understand. What this means is humility. And if I read it to you, the next of the grandfather teachings is Dabazen Dizowin, humility. He is humble. Dabazen Dizowin breaks down into 3 more themes. Dabas, low, and to think, and Dizo, of oneself. I think lowly of myself, just like Debwewin, Dabazen Dizowin is an experience. On his gi Igoshimowin, the child also learned Dabazen Dizowin. Where does food, water, clothing, medicine, and shelter come from? It all comes from Aki, the earth. In English, I think lowly of myself sounds like a bad thing. In Ojibwe, it's a realization of a human's place in the world, because our food, clothing, and shelter come from Aki, from the four-legged, the winged, the swimmers, the plants that grow. Aki offers Nashkiki, medicine, strength of the earth, that heals us when we are sick. Trees give us fire, and the bark gives us a lodging, and the leaves give us the oxygen we breathe. During his Igoshimowin, the boy experienced his relationship with the land and all of its inhabitants. They can now refer to all the animals, fish, birds, plants, and water as relatives. Their relationship is not solely based on a genetic link or connection. They are relatives through relationship. After his Gi Igoshimowin, whenever the boy begins a prayer with Indinawe Maginadok, he greets the entire universe. When he says Inda Bazendis, I am humble, he means that he thinks lowly of himself. He has realized, I am not more important than all the relatives who give me life. In fact, without them, I know I will die. And this is profound in that there is, well, that's not better than this, but that's our way of understanding the world is science. And science says, if the bees die, we die. And this is something really grave, because we are just, as we speak, killing the bees. And we're killing ourselves. This is a really profound truth, and this is, in so many aspects, has been proven to be true. And we are faced with a lot of bad news and a lot of bad things that are currently happening. And but there are also positive news, and this book is amongst them, because there's a way. There's always been a way. We only didn't want to see it because we are so absorbed in our culture and what we think is given by God. No, it isn't. Quite the contrary. If someone says miigwech or thank you before a meal, because something had to give its life for your nourishment. That's a really profound and simple truth. It has nothing to do with being in any way spiritual or religious or anything. It's just a fact. Something had to give its life. I'm standing before a tree, and if I were to make a handle for my knife, I need wood. And I need this knife for processing food, for this and that. And, you know, if I were to take the entire tree for just little piece, I can also take a branch that's lying on the ground, you know, and no tree needs to die. This is something when we need things from nature, and we are allowed to. When he says Inda Bazendis, I am humble, he means that he thinks lowly of himself. He has realized I'm not more important than all the relatives who give me life, and I owe them to, this is my interpretation, I owe them my substance after death. And this is, we don't like to think about death and what happens to the body afterwards, but this is how it works. And in fact, without them, I know I will die. If the bees die, I will die. That's the most profound truth of our world, is if a humble insect, or an insect we thought as humble in our modern culture, and this wasn't always the case, up into the late medieval ages, up into early modern times, bees were considered as something sacred even in our culture. We knew how important they were. We knew that honey or meat or something was sacred. And in fact, without them, I know I will die. Therefore, I think lowly of myself. I do not exalt myself above my relatives. I'm no more important than a bee. I'm not isolated from nature. I'm not something alien to nature. And this is the good news, that it is possible, that we are a part of it all, that we can be a part of it all. We just need to be humble. We just need to say that I'm not no more important than a bee or a tree or a deer or something. This doesn't imply that you are not allowed to eat meat or something. This is your decision. If you say, okay, I'm not more important than a pig or a cow, and it's a pig and not pork, and it's a cow and not beef, because it's a being. You will be eaten by bacteria and bugs, and if you do it right. And everything you have consumed will nourish them in turn after death. And you owe that to nature, because you are nature. And if I were to break my ankle here in the woods, maybe not quite, not here, and I were falling unconscious in the thicket or something, and the wild pig would dispose of me all right. And it were right to do so, because I'm not better than a wild pig. And what we do to the animals is utterly, completely wrong, because we are not better than them. The downside is that we don't treat our fellow human beings much better than battery chicken or animals in an industrial meat production plant, because, well, look at your desk at work. It's nothing better than you're nothing better than a battery chicken. In that we are right, but that needs to stop. Period. Not because it was morally wrong or what have you, but because science and obviously the indigenous knowledge of the world, which we have ignored for 1,000 years now, almost, said so all along, and science has catched up to it, finally. And if we don't believe science, in what should we believe after that? And we are made not to believe science. We are made not to believe the indigenous peoples of the world. The thing is, we are nothing without our relatives. And I will quote again, the very name the Ojibwe have for ourselves abides by this law of Indabazendis. Professor Dennis Jones wrote in his article, The Etymology of Anishinaabe, that the Nigigun Siminikaning Reserve in Ontario provides an etymology for the word Anishinaabe, human being. Anishina means for nothing, and Abe means being, a person. Anishinaabe means the one who is nothing without their relatives. Similarly, the Lake of the Woods region translate Anishinaabe to the one who is humble before the Creator. In undergoing the ceremony, the boy realized that his ancestors that came before him knew this experience, and his descendants will feel this too. He has learned that he is not independent of any of his relatives. He experienced truth and humility. And this is what we as a culture must be faced with, must live up to. Other than that, mankind will die in the next decades. All of us. Or maybe at least 80 to 90%. We need to return to our relatives. We need to return into the bosom of our family, which is the earth, which is the universe. And this is something that I would say makes this book more than just another spiritual writing with a colorful cover or something. This is something I can really recommend, and it's a really cheap price too. In Germany I paid some 13 euros for it, and I wasn't too surprised about the gravity of it, because I know James Fukalich, and I really recommend. He's still alive, and he's doing a great job on Instagram and Facebook, and I think he's also got a YouTube channel. Go over and rate him and give him a sub and a like, because if anyone deserves this, he does. And he's not the only one, but this book is something I would say that is amongst the really greatest works of human wisdom literature. And I'm talking about something like The Five Rings of Miyamoto Musashi, the Hagakure by Tsunetomo Yamamoto, the Bible, the Quran, and the Mahabharata, the Rig Veda, the Kalachakrayana, the Tao Te Ching, the Tao Ji Jing Huatong, and other works. Oh, it's there. So I would give this book a try, and you will not regret it. Maybe it will change the way you see life. And well, miigwech for watching. Thank you for watching. And as I said, again, if you are a First Nations person and I did anything to offend you, pronounce something wrong, I can only try, and I would be really, really grateful if you could correct me and teach me how it would be done, or teach me if you don't want me to This is something I would also love to learn if I just pass any borders of your culture. Please let me know. I don't want to do this. I just want to communicate with you, and I want to do this unconditionally. So please let me know. I don't know yet, and I would love to know whether or not this is appropriate. I thought long and hard about it, and I just fired away because I find this important that to promote this book, because it is a really mind-changing book, and something that I find really important in our not exactly easy times. And this is really good news that this existed all along, and that something like this exists, because it goes a long way for our culture to, well, to repent the wrongs that we have done, because we did wrong, and we gravely did wrong. Maybe not you, maybe not me, maybe not our grandfathers, but our culture as a whole. And we need to try, at least try, to put some of the wrongs we did to rights. And at least we need to try. So that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, no less, and I could give you some inspiration for a really valuable read. And get the book. And thank you for watching, for bearing with me, for being here, for enjoying the content, for making the comment section an enjoyable place that feels warm and welcoming. And thank you for that, because that's not self-evident in these days. And stay sane and healthy. This is a way to do this. Maybe your life will not become easier afterwards, because we live in a culture that tries to counter anyone who or to oppose anyone who tries to be different. And I know, I pretty much know. I've always tried to be different and to put wrongs to right, but I know that, and all of you guys have my respect, and I honor you, and you get my wholehearted empathy. And don't give up. Stay in the game, is what I want to say. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.